All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We are doing a recent runner technical analysis video looking at TRKA and SI. So if you watch my videos enough, you know there's a couple things that really annoy me on charts, right? I don't like horizontal clusters. I don't like massive jumps on volume. One thing I really don't like and don't say often, because you don't really see it too often, but I hate a monster double-digit day and then a red candle on the daily. Come on. That should not happen, right? You shouldn't make 10, 20, whatever percent double digit and drop a red. That means more people lost than more people won, right? And that's not how it should work. And I generally feel that on its own is really telling, all right? There's a number of technical things jumping out as well. But before we get into all that, what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages. There's only one here, but there are horizontal support and resistance lines I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe. It does really well with these YouTube algorithms. But look, even just being here, I'm so grateful for you and thank you for your time, okay? And then look, I am not perfect. I am not all-knowing. There is no crystal ball right here telling me what Monday's going to do. So, hey, if your opinions are better than mine, throw them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you got to say, right? Okay, let's get into it. So there's a bunch of things jumping out. I already talked about the red candle in the beginning. Again, you should not get a beautiful 20 plus, 10 plus, whatever, and a red candle. That's like more people lost today than won, or Friday, whatever, right? That's horrible, okay? Nonetheless, there's some important things happening. All right, I'm going to zoom. So let me at least just go here. Look, you already know. I can even zoom out more. Good things happen over the 8 and the 20. Bad things happen under the 8. And look, I'm seeing the 20 curving down still. It's obviously not super hardcore, right? I'm glad we're not like that right now. But I'm definitely seeing it not stay right here. It's going down, 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 right? So I want to see that 20 hopefully go up, not move down as well, right? We're starting to see a little bit of a curve on the 8 for sure, but look, a lot is going on with what just happened today. Dojis never count. And when a doji lands pretty much on an important line, whether it's a moving average or one of mine, that's generally super telling, okay? It really would say that the next day, so being Monday, should let you know what the truth is going to be, all right? Is it actually going to smash the 100 and go, or is it really just a kind of fake out and it's going to go back down, right? Ultimately, for me, what matters is 2 things. This 316 candle we have to break. All right, this thing closed at 24 cents. I need to get to maybe 24, 25 cents, right? But once we do that, we're already facing the 50 average at 60 cents, right? So ultimately, this thing is kind of not worth my time until we get to 26 cents, all right? Because look, after 26, we'll break this, and it's just a beautiful red to almost a 3x at 75, right? So definitely something to consider. These 2 lines are going to be really hard, right? It's not going to be easy going from 26 to 50. That also might make it consider, hey, maybe I just go from 42, 43 all the way up to 76. Still a really beautiful gain as well, right? So in a lot of ways, I know it sounds silly when I say, look, just skip the gains potentially from 22 to 42. That's a lot of money for me to say don't bother with, right? But making a move from 43 to 76 is good money. And theoretically, look, there's no such thing as safe. There's no such thing as guaranteed. None of that noise. You know that, right? But it's a lot cleaner trading in this channel, basically from this line to here, than it is anywhere in here, right? Because one of these lines can easily reject you and just like make a nasty drop. If you break the top one, you should get a good fly. You know what I mean? So ultimately, though, honestly, I really wouldn't touch this thing until it broke the 50. I don't think there's a lot of, even, like I said, even if we start to go up a little bit, look, there's a decent move from 22 to 26, all right? It only takes a few pennies to bring double digits, right? So you are actually looking at about a 10% trade if that 2 cent move happens, right? From there, though, again, it just becomes this like risk reward thing, right? It seems a little better to go from 27 to this 34, 35, again, roughly that same 10%, but a little bit bigger and a little bit more room before the candle can get smashed down, right? And again, ultimately, if you can wait for that, it goes up. But again, I still have no conviction that we're going up yet. We've been well under the 8 for so many days. I'm not even going to count it, but look, it's basically been 1, 2, most of 3 weeks, right? So that's a bunch of days. This is for sure just the first day. By no means is it a good candle like this. It's some little insignificant doji, right? That shouldn't sway you to. Don't let this 20% day fool you. I'm telling you, all right? Like, that's how you get your hand stuck in the cookie jar. I'm glad there was no silly volume, right? We didn't get like, there's not really a good one here, but like, yeah, we didn't get something like this. That's a pretty decent step up in volume, but 80% of the work is up here, and I'm telling you, that isn't worth the time. Again, I'll set the alert at 26. Did I do it already? I don't remember. An alert is not an immediate buy notification. It's definitely a come check it out. But for real, I think for me, I'm going to set it at 44. And I'll tell you why I did 44 in a second, because I saw it just at the last second. I'd like to get over. Oh, it was at 46, actually. Interesting. All right, I lowered that for no reason. I thought that top of that was 44 or whatever. Either way, getting over the purple is definitely more appealing to me than playing in these. You know, I love the red, 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 red. And again, that's why, hey, I think breaking the 50 is a little bit justifiable. But am I in Monday AM happy? Nah, for sure. One thing I want to call out, look, I never pretend to be smarter than the average bear. I don't know the math behind these. I don't know the math behind these. One thing I always find odd, I don't get why this went down despite the fact that we gapped up, right? Again, red candle aside, 22% up is a big up move, but the RSI decides to go down. That's a little odd to me. Again, 80% of the work is up here, and I'm not necessarily putting too much weight in that, but yeah, again, I just don't know why that happens. And back of my head, something kind of happens, right? But look, if volume can stay here, if we can go around 175 million, just a little bit more than that 140 million, that'd be great. Obviously, if we crack 2 and go up, that can do some silly things here. But ultimately, end of the day, moving averages are what matters. I'm not going to look at the weekly. I'll look at it real quick. But yeah, look, this 28 cents is going to be difficult to get over for sure. And again, this isn't a good weekly. Under the 8, couple weeks, looks like we're trying to stay over the 20, which is great. But again, is it a good over the 20? Not really, right? And then where does 28 cents put us? Basically right here, kind of saying, hey, look, this might stop you from even getting to these. You know what I mean? So just little caution here. Okay, SI. This is a really interesting chart, all right? There's definitely a bunch of things to like. There's definitely a bunch of things to get excited about. However, I'm here to keep things realistic. That's all I'm going to say, all right? First things first, this is definitely a new stock, so what do I like to do? I like to zoom out, right? Let me get to know what this bad boy's done. All right, so is this kind of the beginning of it? All right, it had one monster movement up where it definitely rode over the 8 and the 20 and beautiful things happened, right? It had a couple decent bounces on the 200, and then clearly we've been well under some important lines for at least a year, right? We're coming roughly March to March, so April to April at least, right? Under the 20. Okay, so let's start talking about now. Look, I say this so often, all right? It's really, really easy to start focusing on $5. It's really, really easy to start focusing on like $20, right? Because we for sure were up here not that long ago. We're down here at 1. My goodness, that's a 20x roughly. That's a 10x roughly, whatever you want to call it. And you know what? That's how you get greedy. That's how you lose money. I've done it in the past. Unfortunately, I still do it today because, again, I'm not perfect. I get greedy, right? But I'm telling you, as much good as there is here, there's still a good amount of prove me, all right? First and foremost, you got to break the 8. We actually did not break the 8. We didn't even land on the 8. Look at that. The thing closed at 172. The 8, if you're looking at the box over there, is 173. We're under the 8 by a penny, and we're maintaining what we've done. We've come really close to the line before and then dropped back a bunch more, right? We came from 2 something all the way back down to a real quick 50% loss, even though it looked like we were going to break the 8 right here, right? We still have not broken the biggest green candle to the left. And obviously this is a pretty insignificant candle. So the fact that you couldn't break it is a little disappointing, right? You couldn't even hit the bottom of it. Get out of here. You wick the bottom of it. Get out of here, right? So ultimately, I'm actually not touching this thing until 241. I think that's a really good alert. Again, an alert is not an immediate buy notification. It's not, all right? And theoretically, if this thing breaks the 8, so if this thing hits 175, you can even call it, there's a decent reason to believe you can at least trade it to about 226 or 240. For me, I'd love to get into the 240, ride it all the way to the 20 moving average, either fail and jump out with a beautiful swing, or keep riding this beautiful red gap fill. Look, I'm a married man. I say this joke often. I'm not allowed at anything sexier than this. And I'm telling you, there is so much sexy right here. So much sex, oh my goodness, right? But there are a lot of things that need to happen before you start thinking of any of these double digits or $5 even when you're not over 2 yet. Just keep things realistic. I promise you, all right? We haven't even talked about volume yet, all right? This right here is so common on all my recent runner videos. We were trading at 5 million volume and all of a sudden go to 141 million shares. Come on. Do you really think we're going to hold this on Monday? Or do you think we're going to kind of come back down to normal? Even if we held what was some of the highs, you're still well under 50% volume, right? So I'm telling you, don't worry about the RSI or MACD because, yeah, obviously if you drop a 52, you're going to make these things look good, right? What I care about tomorrow, in a quick recap, holding volume, we cannot go lower than like 120 million. Even coming down to 100 million is a pretty big drop because roughly speaking, that's 150 and you're coming down to about a third real quick, right? So that's not good, right? You gotta hold volume. You gotta break the 8. You gotta break this guy. Do I think we're gonna break the 20 moving average? I really don't. I actually don't. And this is not that hard a plateau. Again, I don't know if there was any news to justify this. If there was news, maybe that'll do something and throw it in the comments, please. But yeah, right now I see more of a swing in here or a straight rejection on the 8 and coming back down to $140. You know what I mean? So I think I'm a little more cautious, but I'm so ready to make a nice swing if it hits, right? So hey, if you disagree with anything, throw it in the comments. Again, I'm not perfect or all-knowing, but hey, if you stayed till the very end, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.